Remakes have been a thing for a good while in gaming. Stuff like the Resident Evil remakes, the Pokemon remakes, and the Final Fantasy remakes of stuff like 3, 4, and 7, as some examples. In a lot of cases, if not most cases, these remakes are considered to be better than the originals just because of how much they modernize and add new content to these games. And today, I'm gonna talk about some games I wish were remade at some point in the near future, as I feel these games should get the same treatment as, say, stuff like the Resident Evil 1 remake. And I just think that these games would be a lot more well liked because, they all kind of old and they're all quite a bit of problems with it that I wish would be fixed in a possible future remake. The first game I really wish that got remade has to be The Sky 2. And I know I said the PC version and the PSP version are the best versions to play, but all it really adds is extra content and doesn't really change most of the problems I have with the game. I still feel that some of the characters should have gotten more developed, and I feel with a remake they could totally do that. Characters like Taro, Hanako, and Tink I feel are just mostly comic relief and don't really have much importance in the story. With Taro and Hanako, I feel maybe they can at least learn to understand more about demons, humans, and stuff like that, and getting to know more about themselves because they are children. I feel like they can at least learn to understand what they like and stuff like that. I know Hanako doesn't want to become a summoner, and at the end of the game she goes with Etna, but I feel it's just not a big thing in the game, or at least it's not treated as big. With someone like Tink, I feel he can have more depth with Rosalind and maybe show his past with Rosalind, and also feel that he could have some scenes about how he feels about taking on Xenon and stuff like that. Then there could be some extra scenes about Kid Rosalind and Xenon and how his past was like, and I also feel that could be more depth in Adele's family because I know his parents all assumed to be those masked people that solve Xenon, but again, it's really implied at the end of the game. It's not really touched upon, at least from what I remember. Gameplay wise, I think as long as they make it feel like the Sky 5, it should be fine since the Sky 5 was pretty smooth, and I feel like in the Sky 2, when you move around your characters, you have to work against the game, and I just feel it's just really annoying. I also feel that they can update the sprites in a different style, mostly the Sky 5 style, just because I felt that looked really good, and I feel a lot of the sprites can be reimagined in that style. And I know that the PC port does look really good, but again, I kind of wish that they will upgrade style-wise to match the more modern aesthetic of the Sky 5. And now, for the next two games I'm going to bring up, I feel they should get a remake mostly just because they're the last two in the series without any modern mechanics, and that's DMC 1 and 2. DMC 1 I mostly feel is just pretty clunky just because it's a leftover from Resident Evil 4, and you can easily feel it when you play. I still feel it's pretty fun and enjoyable, but I think you have to work against the game quite a bit. I also think that if they made it a little bit more free roam like the later entries, this could be a lot more fun to play, and they should also add the style system since DMC 1 and 2 are the last games not to have that. A DMC 2 remake on the other hand should just rework almost everything. I think if they just made it a little bit more harder, redesign the bosses so you just don't have to shoot the gun and win. I also feel that they should actually add in a bunch of different attacks because the upgrade system just totally sucked. I do think that the Devil Trigger was cool in this game, so they can just maybe make that more important. And then I also feel that the directional inputs didn't really work as well and just were a bad replacement for the actual new attacks, so I feel they can keep that and also just add actual attacks, or actually new attacks, other than just upgrading your sword. Moving on to the next title I wish got remade, that has to be Final Fantasy 9, and after seeing the amount of effort Square Enix put into the 7 remake, this makes me wish 9 got the same treatment. I still think it's kind of unlikely just because 9 had the least amount of sales in the PS1 era, but if it did happen, I wish they expanded on stuff like Garnet's actual mother, Amaranth's story, and fix how Necron's handled. I still feel like the story of 9 is still pretty good today, but after seeing some of the changes they made to 7's remake, I feel that they could add a lot of stuff to it and still make it a lot better. Gameplay wise, I'd still say they can probably use 7's remake because I felt like what I played from the demo, I still really liked it, and they could just use that same one again. And moving on to the next game I wish got remade, and that has to be Skyward Sword. think Skyward Sword has the best art style of any 3D Zelda, so I think making it HD would definitely make it look a lot better. Another thing they could totally fix would be the backtracking, because you have to go back to each area like 3 different times, and that really sucks. They also all feel disconnected, so I feel like if they had a better connection point towards these areas, that would make the game feel a lot more alive. But I also do think that this one's kind of unlikely just because the Switch lacks motion controls. I know the Joy-Cons and the Pro Controller have gyro controls, but it's not the same exact thing, and they would have to change a lot of stuff because they would just have to add in button controls and just again change how the game plays. I don't mind the motion controls because that was pretty fun, and for me it worked most of the time. It's just that a change they would have to make no matter what if they do port it. And that's more or less all the games I would like to see remade at some point in the future, and of course these don't have to happen, and for the most part I still will enjoy these games, at least the original version. But what games do you guys want to see remade in the future? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys later.